Making amends. When we make amends in our lives and we have the understanding, we coming to the place of presence, about the situations in our lives, and we feel the guidance, which is our higher consciousness telling us to make amends. We're actually healing ourselves and we're healing others, or at least we're presenting the potential for them to heal, because when we can heal ourselves and we understand it and uh, come into the awareness, the witness that's, maybe we've done something that wasn't really nice, right? Or hurtful or something to another person or another thing, we come into the realization, maybe I need to make amends, right? And so from that point of view, we would take action, right? Whatever that is for you. And we can do that in many different ways, depending on the situation that arises and how long it's been from there, because a lot of times it may just take years or even eons, to make those amends or changes or come into that awareness, that we even need to, right? Because for me, it was really interesting. Like, as I had evolved, somebody at one moment had posed a question to me: is there anything that in your life that you um, feel like you regret or need to make amends on, or anything like that? And I was like, at that point in my life, I was like, no. um, I wasn't ready, right? And so I was not an angel. I mean, I did things that I probably shouldn't have done and said things I shouldn't have done. But then as I evolved, it came back around. It was kind of like, I just felt like this need to start making amends and reach out to people and just kind of do things. And it was kind of just an evolution of itself. We reach a point where we want to take a look at our lives and make the amends, um, which is a natural, kind of like a circadian rhythm within ourselves, built in. And we have these abilities of wanting to do certain things that comes from within. And so, to act on those, and then not to negate them. And so periodically we would want to do that, because we're actually monitoring our lives and healing our lives and healing others by doing that, because we don't always mean to hurt people, or say things or do things, you know. And so when we can do that, we are actually healing ourselves, and then others, because what happens is, we live from that. If we don't take action as when we're guided to do that internally, um, we can kind of continue that on into other lifetimes, and we may forget from lifetime to lifetime that that's still going on there in the background. And then from that point, we may not even realize or recognize why something's happening in our lives, because we've forgotten from lifetime to lifetime, right? A lot of people will call that your cycles. Then there's also your afterlife, life review. So whether you do it in this lifetime or the next lifetime, or the passing into the next lifetime to choose of that lifetime, you're going to do the life review anyway. But to do it now, as you're doing it and you're in full awareness, is the best time, to become aware of, making our amends, for whatever situation that has come up, whatever you've done. Maybe you didn't pay your bills, or maybe you took advantage of somebody, maybe you hurt somebody, whatever that situation is. We want to do our life reviews and do like a monitoring of our life as we go, as we evolve from one to the place to the other. We become in more of a higher consciousness as we're evolving, because everything evolves back to love. And so from that point of view, take a looking at it. How do I feel about this? How was this? And do I feel like, a jerk, or, do I feel bad about this? Whatever it is that, is becoming present in your life, and you're becoming aware of it, as they come up. And that's just an indicator that your higher consciousness source is like, let's kind of like look at this now, because now you're ready. Right. And so when you can do that, you can change and transform your life, and you can change and transform another person's life, because you may have affected them and you don't even know it, right? Until you become aware of it. And so it's when we become in awareness, which is the presence of source within us, is showing us and trying to encourage us to do the amends, right? So there's nothing, it's not saying that you're wrong or you're being punished or anything like that. It's just part of evolution, our soul being, and so we want to move forward with that and stay connected and in tune with that. And so it'll give you direction, and what you need to do. And so to do it, you want to do it because if you don't, again, you're going to have the life review after, or you're going to forget and then have the past life, next life, and then forget about it, because a lot of times we don't remember from lifetime to lifetime until we're triggered and it brings it up, and then we are kind of like, well, why is this happening, right? Well, what did you do in a past life? Did you forget, right? So nothing is ever against you for punishment reasons or anything like that. It's to help you to evolve, right? Everything is for you. Now, when we bring that, into the awareness, for another, say you decide, okay, yeah, I kind of don't feel right about that now because now I'm in a different place, and that shows you that you've evolved. When you can be in a different place and you looked at a past situation, you don't feel good about it, and maybe you've said something or done something that you probably shouldn't have, or you feel like you've hurt somebody, um, and you want to bring it into the awareness, and to do something about it, to make that change or to heal it and let it go, and kind of clear that out, we bring it to their attention, right? And so at that point, you know, because they are a part of it, they have that option. Doesn't mean that they will accept it depending on what happened, because they have a choice and free will as well. So they may keep it, but doesn't mean that you're not doing your part, right? Because it's not just one-sided, right? You have multiple um, things that are involved depending on the situation. So if it's just you and one person, you and a couple of different people involved, the other person, the other side has a right to say, I accept this or I don't. But at the same token, if they choose not to, then that's their own suffering, right? You've done your part. You put it down at their feet by making the amends, putting it out there. And it's up to them to choose to accept it or not. And if they're not willing to, or maybe they're just not ready, doesn't mean it holds you to them. You've done your part, and then you have to just let go and let it evolve and let Source and the universe do its work for them where they are on their journey, so they can heal and let go of it and free themselves. So when we do amends, whether we're apologizing, making things right, whatever we're doing to be our highest and honest being, in alignment with love, we are actually freeing ourselves from that situation, right? Even if they don't want to accept it, right? We're still freeing ourselves. They're the ones that's going to keep themselves locked up in that, right? And so it's not until they're ready to let go and heal from it that they're going to free themselves. So there's healing and then there's freeing, right? So there's your level of healing the situation and then freeing, because until you are actually able to heal, then you can't free yourselves. So it's not the same thing. And some people will think it's the same thing. Well, no, it's not, because you can heal it, make your amends, but if you don't let it go, then you're not freeing yourself. You have to heal and then let go. You have to let go to free yourself, right? And so when we are doing that, it's kind of connected, but it's not. So after you make your amends or apologize or make things right, you give the ball to them in their court and they get to choose, right? And so they choose based on theirs. But then once you do that, whether they accept it or not, you just kind of have to let it go. You can't keep harboring it, right? Because you're not freeing yourself. You're still going to, because there's still, if you can't let it go, there's still stuff there that needs to be looked at. And why is that, right? And you have to go deeper, right? On the treadmill there, why this is not done, right? And a lot of people will say, well, I've been working on this forever, right? But why? Right, right. You got to go deeper. And a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of different layers to that in that perspective, because if it is something that's happened from past lives, you have past lives that are taking a role if you haven't made your amends from the situation, you know. So you have different levels of that and going on in awareness. But when you make amends, you're healing yourself. And so whether you do that verbally, mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever that is on any level for whatever situations, journaling, writing, face to face, sending your intention, asking for guidance, asking for truth, however it is that you're doing it. Um, there's different spiritual methods that you can do it, burning papers, writing it down, burning it, talking to their side, going to see a medium, a psychic, so you can talk to people who've passed over. You can do many different things to help with the situation. So it's not that you can't, it's that you won't if you don't want to do it. But when we make amends, we can heal ourselves, we can heal the other person. And then when you give that opportunity for them, it's really up to them. And then once they are able to do it, they're able to heal themselves, um, and then let go, right? And so then that's clear, right? So on the healing level, but then you got to let go and move on, right? So you can heal, but then if you keep talking about it, you're still attached to it, right? So then you have that attachment to you're not free from it, right? You evolve from the place that you are. And so when you can be free and healed of it, then you're changing and transform the energy and you won't have to deal with it anymore. So kind of wanted to clear that up too as well, because I've had people say to me, well, I keep working on this, in the sessions, and why is it not happening, because there's different levels of it, right? There's different awarenesses of it, different understandings. Could be inner child healing, could be past lives, different levels. So really not until you get into it that you can see it and look at it. But this is just something, that I've started evolving through. At a certain point in my age when I became awareness, and I started just doing things like writing letters to people. Not that I had a whole lot of it, but I did. And then I went on Facebook and, whatever I felt like I didn't do right, or something maybe I said that I feel like maybe I've hurt them. I kind of was like, well, I feel bad about that, so I'm going to apologize, And so as I was going through my journey, other people were reaching out to me, apologizing, and I was apologizing to them. And it seems like it's a currents that we go through. And so from my understanding and my experience, it's something that just comes from within. It's like innate. We have the innate healing system within ourselves, the ability to want to heal and to move on from a situation which arises from within us, that helps us to motivate us to do it. And so to do that, take action on it, is using your free will, your intention, your purpose, because it's a natural instinct that arises from within. So it's a natural, looking for the right words, pending the purpose to be something else, because there's always potential and the awareness to be something or somewhere else that we are along our journey. And so everything is evolving, which goes back to the topic of evolving. We all evolve, but we have all these internal things that are going on within us that kind of helps us to evolve through that. And so it's like a natural cleansing system is what they're saying to share with you. It's kind of like a natural cleansing process. And it's when you like harbor things and keep on to it that you like, if you've done something or somebody did something to you and you're harboring it, resentments, and so you create that experience and you keep playing it out in your mind and your heart and your body, and so you create illnesses, right, and diseases and things like that for yourself, and then you contribute to the anger and hatred of the world. And so that is here, right? That's the separation. So anything that's creating, and I did a video on that, whatever we create of love, we generate of love goes to the other side. Whatever we create and generate of the hatred is here in the experience, right? And so it stays here because it can't go there. It's like the two dimensions in the realities, the love and the not, the absence of it, right? And so the reality of being love and the reality of not being love is here on the opposite ends of the stream, right? See, the absence of, the lack of, the not being of, the fullness is on the other side. And so when we generate love, it goes there. When we generate, the other feelings and emotions, it's here, right? And so from here, we generate love, right? And so it's the absence of love generating love to be over there. So it's the creation of love from the side to that side, which allows it to perpetuate. And so it creates more of it on that side. So when we go home on that love, that's what we have. We have all love, right? And so from the absence of love, it helps create it, right? And so that's why you have the experiences that you have, like somebody hurts you, somebody gets mad at you, somebody yells at you, somebody hurts your feelings. Um, but then it's a generation of love and healing that we go through, which perpetuates the reality and the viewpoint that we're in, to help with that generation of love. It's all for the purpose of love. And it's a viewpoint that you have here, that you take from this point with you to the other side, that is love. And so you experience the love there that you generated from here to be a part of it over there, the awareness of it, which creates um, the magnitude, the magnificence of love, the feeling of love on the other side. So it creates that. And so I don't know if that helps, with breaking it down. And as the more I do these, the more stuff's going to come back through, because when you have a near-death experience, you can't bring all that information with you, all at one time. So as I'm doing these videos and the vlogging, and talking and channeling, and they're sharing information at the same time, it's all going to come together and paint this big picture, so we can have a better understanding on a lot of things. From being a near-death experiencer, you have that, and I'll do a video on, the experience of that, here shortly. But yep, everything, whenever we make amends, for something, we're generating love, right? We're releasing it. And so when you're healing, you may actually feel the love arise, right, within yourself. And so there's different things that are going on at the time behind the scenes when we're making the amends, right? And so it's the resistance, it's the absence of being love, that you're creating love. So no matter the level of love that you're at, or in resistance of it, you're creating the same amount of it. So for the amount of, this is what they're saying, and for the amount of lack you are, is the amount of love that you're going to create for the other side when you go over the other side to enjoy it. And I think that's kind of where I'm going to end that. So, all right, happy journeys.